Okay, you're ready. You're good.
Okay, it's the meeting of the Hanson Recreation Commission on February 22nd, 2021. Present are myself, Vice Chair John Zuko,
Melissa Scartesi.
Juvie Hartwig.
Joni Frazzetti. Oh,
Brian Frazzetti.
Ryan Smith.
and our admin, Dory Jameson, is here as well. First
Here.
on the agenda is the approval. This is an open meeting being recorded via Zoom. First on the agenda is the approval of the February 8th minutes. Everyone had a chance to read through those?
Yep.
Any questions? Okay, I'll motion to approve the February 8th meeting minutes. Can we get a second?
Second.
Okay, all in favor? John Zuko is an aye.
Juvie Hartwig,
Brian?
aye.
Juvie's an aye.
Melissa, I.
Joan Frazzetti, aye.
Brian Frazzetti, aye.
I can't vote on those. I wasn't there.
You weren't there. That's okay. Okay, so we have a unanimous aye. The ayes have it. The minutes have been approved for February 8th, 2021 meeting. New business report on the Winter Wonderland event, February 19th and 20th, the Story Walk. Who wants to report on it?
Melissa, do you want to go first?
Sure. So we had the event on Friday and Saturday. It was sold out. We had a couple people, and Juvie, correct me if I'm wrong, we had a couple people cancel last minute, but then we had a kind of like a waiting list, so we were able to fill some slots. There was some snow later on in the night, so I feel like we had some no-shows. I think because of the snow and the roads were getting kind of bad. But other than that, I mean, I talked to most of the people that were there, that checked in down at the desk, and they were so thankful that we had it. They were happy. We started the kids off, the families off at the cabins, and they walked through. They were all lit and decorated, and then they walked up. Ours was, we walked up through to the story walk next. They did the story walk, and then they did their s'mores, and then they picked up their hot chocolate, and then we had Valentines for them. And they were, the kids from Indian Head all decorated little snowmen and snowflakes, and we put those on the trees, and it was a contest Juvie came up with, that the kids walked around and tried to guess how many were on the trees, and then they gave their guess at the very end. Yeah, I don't know, Juvie, do you want to add about the
Yep. So I think we had about 70 families. There was this one family that that actually is a children's museum family that, she had I think they have some disability issues. I can't say for sure, but they couldn't make it, and she purchased 3 tickets for her 3 separate families, so she couldn't make it. It opened it up for getting more families, but we ended up with just 2 families to fill that slot, because I was not sure how many specifically some families had. We had some families that had 6 or 7, and they brought aunts and uncles and grandma and grandpa, so we had to account for those as well. So for some sessions we could only have 4, because if we had a 7-person family, there'd be 21. So I think the first Friday at 5 p.m. was like a 21. But we were in and around like 24, 25, right on the money in terms of like how many people. Saturday, when I was there with our crew, we split up into 2 separate crews. We had about 8 families not show up because of the cold. So our 7 o'clock, for example, was decimated. I think we only had like 2 families show up for the 7 o'clock. But it did get cold, and so a lot of the families, there were little ones, and some of them were troopers, and they hung in the entire hour. But for the most part, people stayed about 45 minutes. They didn't do the story walk. Was for some of the little ones, it was too it was too snowy. It just got cold, but they really dug the lights. They dug the hot cocoa, and of course the Valentine's. So overall, it was, I think, if it not 69 families technically, because we had to transfer the funds for the Mac family for another event. I didn't know what else to do, but we had like 69 would be approximately like 1375 that we made just from ticket sales. And I know Dory, we were only able to collect maybe 600 in sponsorships. So
Yep.
overall, it was just under $2,000 that we made. I'm waiting for receipts from all the ladies. The lights we did spend a bundle on because we really didn't have too many takers in terms of like lighting up the cabins. But the good news is the funds, and Dory can, kind of vouch for that. We can use them for next year. So a lot of them, the spending that we had, it was quite a bit, but being the first year, a lot of it was just investment type things. So that we can hopefully keep it. But I think we did overall fairly well, given like we were so restricted. People were still emailing the day up to get in, and we were not going to let any of the numbers get messed up. So there was a lot of interest, guys. So I'm thinking next year we'd probably have better revenue.
Yeah, and I think having the stations worked like so spread out because it really kept the people, and everybody was spread out. Like I didn't feel crowded anywhere, or I feel like the groups moved pretty well. And the music was great. John Zuko, as usual.
I was just gonna say that.
Well,
Yeah, it was
Brendan-
exciting. The music
Brendan
was
came
great.
through, and the lighting,
Yeah.
we sort of adjusted the lighting the second night. I thought it was better having the sticks where the actual signs were. So it gave us sort of, this way they knew where to go with the next.
Lighting was beautiful, John. It was
Yeah.
perfect.
So,
Beautiful. And the
Good.
kids were so excited to see it and be out and see all the blow ups, and thanks to the highway
Mhm.
department as well for allowing us a generator to allow that to happen. I thought it was terrific.
yeah. Mhm.
You know?
And the actual, I couldn't believe they got the fire going on the Friday night when it was snowing. They kept that fire going.
Yep.
At the in front of the lodge.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was great.
Do you think we made like a couple $100, or what do you think?
Well, so right now I'm waiting for the rest of your monies, but we had the drone guy come up with a video so that we can give it to our 3 sponsors. We definitely made the sponsorship money, $600, which we haven't touched at all. And then after you guys give me your receipts, I'm kind of anticipating we probably made $300 off of the admissions, because we spent a couple hundred on like the Valentines, right? And the trinkets, the lights and things like that. So I think we probably, I don't know, like $800 or so.
Okay. That's
I
good.
can't say yet. I'm
That's
waiting
good.
for all the receipts. Yeah. So Dory, when you get a chance, just send me the receipt for the lights so I can do the accounting. And the next meeting we just have to vote on the accounting, make sure everybody's receipts are in. And then we can then figure out what monies need to be donated once the spreadsheet's put together. I don't have any of your receipts, ladies. So if you can get that in, that'd be great.
Great. Excellent.
Joan? Ms. Joan?
Yeah, all I wanted to say was that I don't think Juvie was there at the time when I said about the newspapers, the Enterprise and the Patriot Ledger both have articles on the walk. So, and it's a nice article. I printed it out, so.
Oh, Joan, can you just give John a heads up? Because I think sometimes they'll have a digital. I can ask that reporter to see if we can get like the link, but that would be awesome to share on the page.
Someone put it into and I don't know which one of the Hanson pages, but if you go there, but the Patriot Ledger was Valeria Vasquez, Vazquez, and it was published on February 21st at 4:30. So, and it just has that. But if you go to the website of the town, one of the town sites like Network or one of those, he even has pictures of the whole thing, all the cabins and everything else. So, and it's somebody else from the town that put it into local thing, so that's where I found it today.
Oh, yeah. Yes, but Mark Vasquez.
And you agreed to give, refund the money once that date is booked. It's May 29th, 2022. So she
Mhm.
was thrilled with that. And the bride didn't want anything to do with the wedding decorations or anything. She wanted to donate it all to Camp Kawani because she wanted the wedding there. She loves Camp
Yep.
Kawani. It wasn't going to be there. So she donated, and there's so many nice things that she donated for brides to use, for themes. I mean, like wooden, like everything's wooden, it's totally
Mhm.
like Camp Kawani, like place, holders and everything's rustic and just a ton of stuff, even an archway that we can use, out in the back deck. So
Mhm.
just wonderful that she did that.
Nice.
Can she
Yeah,
get a tax deduction for that or no?
I don't know. I
Yeah.
didn't think about that. That's a good question. Yeah, I'll find out.
Okay, but we have to vote to accept the donation. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay, so I'll motion that we accept the donation from the bride whose wedding canceled.
Yep.
Yep. We get a second?
A second.
Second, okay, all in favor? I'm an aye.
Aye.
Hold that vote for a second, John.
Yep, okay.
Dory, if you were to guess, because I know it's going to be asked by the Board of Selectmen, and I know it's going to be very difficult, can you throw an approximate dollar amount on that? Whether you think it might be worth 1,000 or might be worth 500? Because every time we put something as a donation, they want a dollar amount, not the Board of Selectmen,
Yeah. When I
or
send it to
at
them,
least an approximate.
yeah, I will. I'll list like the major like groups that they sent us, and I'll list an approximate dollar amount. Yep,
Okay, all right.
definitely.
Okay, continue. Sorry.
Okay, I'm an aye. Melissa,
Aye.
Brian, Frazetti,
Oh,
Aye. Both of us are ayes.
Brian, both Brian's are ayes. Juby
Aye.
and Joan,
Aye.
the ayes have it. We will accept the donation.
Excellent.
Okay, next on the agenda is discussion on the CPC article submission.
Do we want to wait until Diane comes for that?
Yeah, why don't we do that?
Yeah.
Let's table that for now. We'll do
Yep.
that to when Diane gets here.
Okay.
Next thing is discussion on the macaroni kids.
I think we have to hold off on that because we still don't have really, we don't have anything right now. We need to advertise.
Okay. Hold off on that. We'll table that. Next is discussion on the next story walk scheduled for March 28th.
Yeah, we were thinking, so April, correct me if I'm wrong, guys. I think Easter is April 4th.
Yes, it is. Yep.
So we're not going to be able to do the bunny breakfast again, but I mean, if we can do this, I think I would wanted to ask, since we have really exhausted volunteers, I'm going to have to, if I do this with the Children's Museum, I'm going to have to hire, I want to hire a bubble person. So I think I had talked to Dory about doing the 80-20, but at the same time also paying for the caretakers. I feel like, I know we have a system in place where when somebody does an 80-20, the caretakers just have to be there. But I think in this situation, since we only need one caretaker, and I often have like some high schoolers and college kids that we hire to kind of man some of the stations, we can also pay for a caretaker just so that Camp Kawani makes a little more. But
This is a daytime story walk.
Oh yeah, this is daytime.
Yep.
It's gonna be on. We're gonna have like the bubble that we usually have, and a bunny, and you can get Easter bunny pictures. But it's one of those where like the bunny is on one end and the kids are sitting on another.
Mhm.
And then we're gonna do something a little bit different with the egg hunt because we did not like that they were crushed and left on the path. So we're gonna have it a little bit more kind of centered to the cabins and like big boxes so that there's a little chance of them being stomped on because we don't need plastic bits. But other than that, I know Yeah, so for COVID restrictions right now, guys, same thing with Story Walk. Unless, of course, they change it, we're gonna keep the same idea, 25 persons. And if it does, if they increase the numbers, then we can just reopen them. Our Easter stuff is almost always sold out. So, if we vote on this, you're probably looking at again, another $1,400 situation. And so that would be, is it about $300 or so for the camp if it's an 80-20 split. And that's, I think it's based, the DJ is a little more, the DJ we have to pay for. So I have to kind of
Do you have
figure
a
out. how
DJ
much-
for this or no?
Yeah, she's a bubble person. She's
Okay,
doing,
yeah.
she does
She'll
the
do the
bubbles
music?
and then
Yep.
she's, yeah, and then she does some of the games, like the egg thing she's gonna
Yep.
do, and she's done it at other places where she gives plastic spoons that all the
Mhm.
kids have to keep, like nothing comes back to her.
Yeah,
So, I mean, so that way we meet all the COVID precautions, and then
okay,
she's got staff. I just,
yeah.
it was really difficult to kind of get volunteers. This
Mhm.
would just be an easy one since we've done this sort of thing before.
I know Brian Frizzetti's mentioned he wanted to be the bunny this year.
Won't fit,
Oh, sweet.
I won't fit in a suit.
Going custom made.
I'd fit in a Santa Claus suit. That's about it. Hey, two things on that. Just a quick
Yep.
one. March 28th is the date you have. Do you have a rain date?
Probably that Saturday, April 3rd. If
Okay.
it rains, yeah, because it does get
Yes.
rainy, yeah. So it would be that Saturday. That not as ideal, obviously, as the 28th, but we
Right.
could do
28th
that Saturday.
28th is a Sunday or Saturday?
It's a Sunday. I feel like the
Sunday,
Sundays
okay.
are a little bit
Yep.
easier for,
Okay,
especially for the high schoolers that we do hire. So we will probably hire 2 high schoolers to make sure that, they're at the different stations, one at the Story Walk station, and then the other one at the cabin station. So with 25, I mean, we'll hire more if there are more than 25 persons that are allowed, but we'll have to see.
Just one more quick note. The pictures were put up of the last Story Walk, and there was a lady that said she had a couple of younger children. It was on Town of Hanson, Camp Kawani. I did not want to respond to them that anything else was coming up because I didn't feel it was my place. So if someone could maybe get back to her again, it's on our main Town of Hanson, Camp Kawani page, and she just asked if there were more things like the Story Walk coming up.
Was it like a
So-
comment, Brian, or something?
Yeah, it was in the comment section. She just said that she'd love to show up for it, and asked if there were anything else, and if there was anything else like that coming up again for her children.
Mhm.
All right, I'll look and see, because I did see a couple people and I add them. I always add those people to our email list.
Yeah, they all had positive feedback, but she just kind of jumped in at the very end and it was over with, so she couldn't go.
Oh, okay, got it.
Okay. I have a feeling the Easter one will be pretty well attended. So.
Oh, yeah.
Mhm. Okay, do we have to vote on that?
Yeah, I wasn't gonna,
Yeah.
I wasn't gonna advertise it until, because if it wasn't gonna be at Camp Kawani, I would have had to do it at Forge Pond in Hanover. So I'd obviously prefer Camp Kawani, but so please consider. I think it would be a nice kind of continuation. And I know Diane and Melissa, and I'm sure you guys have other thoughts for what we can do in the spring. But this one's just an easy one for us since we've done it practically like every year since the museum's been open, but as we know, we can't open, so.
Okay, so I'll make a motion that we hold.
John?
this. Yep,
Can I just ask her what the bubble lady is charging, the DJ bubble lady?
$300.
Okay, all right.
good deal. Yep.
Okay, I needed to know that. And then, now,
Beautiful.
couldn't we ask for the honor roll volunteers, the good ones, to come back, maybe help you out on it?
I always struggle with that, to be honest with you, because a lot of them, if they don't show up, we get stuck. Especially when you've got something like this. We were lucky this time around that we had so many of those honor roll students come in. So, I mean, I always put it out there. I always try.
Okay.
And on occasion, we'll have like some board members show up as well. But I just for this one, just because we seem to have exhausted our volunteers and it's only a couple weeks away. I just thought hiring that staff that I usually have come is just easier just for this one. And if there should be anything else that, you know, we do moving forward. I know on the Dory, we forgot to mention the April vacation stuff that we were thinking of doing. We wanted to save them for actual Camp Kawani stuff and not necessarily like Children's Museum sponsored things.
Okay.
Okay. Ready for the motion? Motion to hold our next story walk. That's in conjunction with the South Shore Children's Museum. Is that correct? On March 28th of this year with a rain date of April 3rd. Any discussion? All in favor? John Zuko is an aye. Melissa?
Aye.
Joan?
Aye.
Brian Smith?
Aye.
Juvi?
Aye.
Brian Frizzetti?
I second it, and I.
Second, thank you very much. We forgot a second. Thank you. Brian seconded, he is an aye. So that'll be on the 28th of March. Once again, any info get to me for the website. I'll get that up there. Next is discussion on the Scouts package.
We haven't gotten around to that, guys. We're struggling to market this because one of the things that were posed to us was, do you guys have meals? So especially for the younger ones, I guess the bigger ones make their own, but the younger ones, so we're a little bit struggling to put a package together. I mean, we've got Dory, I know we haven't had that meeting yet, but we know we want to get that kind of put together. So
Okay.
Can
So,
Can I throw in something? There is a camp out that the Boy Scouts themselves have done 5 social distance friendly activities for your troop. I mean, the Boy Scouts themselves have put out criteria things, and they're the ones that would have to put out what they want and bring it to the Board of Health, and then we would have to see what we could do from theirs. But they're the ones that need to promote it, do something on it.
well, so that's interesting, Joan. Gil let us know that because we are technically the camp, and we are actually we have the license for it. The Boy Scouts can't actually do it. It would be us, and then that we would be like, they would be our customers, only because we're like our insurance to kick in as well. We have to, we're not pretending we are, but we haven't actually ever done it. We're actually licensed by the state of Mass to run an actual camp because we are a camp. But what we're struggling with right now is that we don't necessarily have the structures put in place. So for example, most camps you have like, you have like counselors that run the volleyball game. You have counselors that run the music DJ stuff. We don't currently have that. And the reason we can do this for the Boy Scouts is because they already have that. They have their volunteers that come in and do wood chipping or whatever. So all they really need from us is our facility. So the only package we've been able to come up with is the package to rent the cabins, which is kind of lame, I know, but we don't have anything else.
You can also just do it with tenting. They're allowed 2-person tents, and they can do tenting, and they can take that whole, what they call the softball field down there, and lay out tents and then put out a program, because that's what most of them have. I got a hold of if you go into the Boy Scout line, it gives everything of how to do it. And it also has the one for the COVID-19, what the social distance friendly activities you can do. So I printed it out, so I have a copy of it.
Yeah, so those are the things that we need to kind of put together in a package. But right now we're just putting a package together because we don't have anything else right now. Would be $500. They can do, they can tent or whatever, but it would be $500 to rent the north cabin, another $500 to rent the south cabin if you're a big troop every day. So at the end of the week, it would be $2,500, which, believe it or not, seems like a lot of money, but it's actually not at all, because if you rent nearby Squanto, it's like $15,000. So you can imagine that this would be a good Obviously, Squanto has a ton more stuff, but I mean, eventually, I think we can start raising the prices. I think this year our goal to make the revenue of $40,000 was to, in 8 weeks, rent the north and south cabins Monday through Friday and get $5,000 weekly, so that at the end of 8 weeks we'll get that revenue. And then when we have the revenue, that's when we were going to turn around and say, okay, let's invest in better canoes. And I don't know, I think somebody had mentioned trying to rig up a is it a bow and arrow? What is that archery thing?
Archery.
Yeah, so we're just really preliminary stages, but if we could get, I mean, it would be awesome if we get 8 weeks, but let's face it, if we could get 3 or 4 even to start off the season, that'd be great.
Juvie, we're making zero, so anything we can do is, and then we're starting the relationship, and it can only grow. I mean, if they're paying 15,000, word gets around. I mean,
yeah. Well, the thing is, the councils will do it for us. I mean, the councils, they push it out because a lot of these troops are also strapped this year for, I know, like, for example, my troop just did the wreaths fundraiser. That's all they were able to do, but it's really much more money. They may be a little bit short for a Camp Squanto, but they certainly have enough money for a Camp Kiwanee. And but I think the biggest issue is for a larger troop like that one. They get food included at, and it's not, we're talking hot dogs and like corn or something like that, and watermelon. We're not talking big time stuff, but we just don't have the infrastructure. So I think what we're trying to do is trying to figure out who we can connect with in town. And I know Diane has reached out to the old hitching post, who said that they would cater everything, which, they're not at all upset about paying extra for food because camping's so cheap, so if it's $2,500 just for the facilities, they will pay the additional money for food because that's what they're used to doing. And it's still a fraction of the cost of other places, but it's really just sitting down and figuring out how to word this stuff.
Why can't they bring their own food? And I mean, it's because according to this, they're supposed to provide their own food from a menu plan, and they're supposed to. I mean, there is activities for a new scout camp out and what to bring to a spring tent camp out. I mean, they've got all that information on the internet, and I mean, you can set up for them like to rent, make the prices for whether they want cabins or whether they want to do tents. But I mean,
they can. That's really for the older scouts that can do that.
No, this is for the younger groups. This is for tenderfoot, second class, and first class. And each one has different requirements. So it's for someone that's never scouted before. But I mean, what they have to do is put out what they want to do, and then the Board of Health has to approve of it. But according to this, they're supposed to cook their own food at the campsites or what have you. But
I think if they're doing like a Boy Scout like camp, but I mean, this is a lot of them get a la carte stuff just because a lot of them are finding that they're not getting parent volunteers. Remember, somebody has to prep that food. So a lot of these people, these troops especially, they won't have enough hands. They don't have enough hands. So oftentimes what they'll do is they'll pay extra
they're looking for facilities that have services, like a food, like services and options, and we just don't have that right now. Is that what you're right?
Yeah. That's and especially there are some troops that are very self-sufficient, and there are other troops that just are too small to be able to do something like that. But regardless, they still, like a troop of 25 scouts still wants to and can rent a North Cabins for $500. It's a great deal. It's a great deal still, believe it or not. And especially if, some family members will come too, like dads and siblings do come to these things. So like I said, it's honestly, it's not just the Boy Scout guys. There's also Girl Scouts. There's also some other organizations like local churches want to do like a week-long, not necessarily a Bible school, but something like that, like a retreat. There was a question about, well, what if people want to do a retreat? Which is, I think, it's fine. We can kind of just tell them, well, you can hike, you can use the cove, with a lifeguard. I guess that has to be figured into that. you can have a movie night, you can, but again, this is where the packaging comes in. This is where the messaging and all that stuff is really hard to pinpoint right now, because we don't have, like, we could say play volleyball. We do have a volleyball court, but we don't have something set up to be like, all right, at 9 o'clock every day, there's a volleyball tournament. At 10 o'clock, there's a archery thing. At 11, there's fishing. We don't have any of those things. So I think that's where we really need to kind of sit down and figure out the logistics. Because I know we have some wonderful caretakers that did a fishing program that can do that for a camp. That's doable. It's just, we don't have that put together.
That's not what Boy Scouting is all. That isn't what the Boy Scouts do when they go to camp. They provide their own entertainment and what there is. Like you say, volleyball. They would schedule the volleyball every day at 9 o'clock. They would schedule the archery at a such and such a time. They would schedule fishing. I mean, if they need someone to do it, but they're the ones that need to schedule it, not us. I mean, we can provide some of that stuff, but they're the ones that have to do it. Dory, did you ever get a hold of that scoutmaster from Pembroke, I think it was, or whoever we had in November?
I think we traded voicemails, but I have not spoken with him.
Okay,
I will. Yeah, I'll try him again.
Because he's the one that would be able to tell you exactly how to handle this Boy Scout camping thing. And yes, you have to have the approval of the Board of Health to approve whatever they want done and that we can provide.
Yeah.
Exactly. Brian?
I think,
I will.
Joe,
When I've gone to Girl Scout camp, it was that they scheduled everything that was to be done and what was to be done.
Yeah.
I think
And
you're talking about two different things. So it's the facilities rental, which is fine, which is what our capabilities are right now, because we don't offer anything. But like, there's other camps. Like I went to Camp Wabasso in New Hampshire, Girl Scout camp. It was a full-on camp. It was like $1,000 for the week. They provide everything. So they provide food, they provide activities, they provide an every day. That's what Juvie's talking about. That's where she wants. I think Juvie. That's what I think you're talking about.
Yeah, I know, because there's different groups, like that church retreat, group. They have like their little youth group.
Yeah.
They don't have that structure. I mean, the Boy Scouts might, and like Whitman Scouts, for example, that's what we actually pretended last year that those were our programs, because we technically are the camp. And that's why half of those volunteers had to sign waivers for the town, because they were acting as volunteers for Camp Kiwanee, when really it was not our program. I mean, it sort of was, but so we just kind of have to figure out how to do this. And where we don't want to spend too much money on additional help. If we have caretakers, our caretakers will be more than capable of running some of these things. And some of these other groups, you're right, Joan, we'll have like the church might have like I don't know, let's make blankets, craft. They might have those things. And so not every single part of the day has to be scheduled for them. But in terms of like offering a package, like imagine this, giving somebody a brochure, camp at Camp Kiwanee, enjoy paddleboarding and kayaking, enjoy a hike on the Bay State Trail. I'm making this stuff up. Enjoy a volleyball game, enjoy a barbecue, blah, blah, blah. Enjoy s'mores at the, like that sort of thing. We just don't have the language right now. We have all of those features. We just haven't like put it together. So I think that's where we're at with the packaging. Lots of ideas, but nothing concrete put down on a brochure. And unfortunately, if we don't get this done soon, a lot of these guys, I know my troop for the little ones, because they can't do Camp Kiwanee, the little ones, the Cub Scouts, they paid for the end of August Camp Squanto, and waiting for Camp Squanto to confirm that the camp is still going on. But yeah, a lot of people are already paying for camp right now.
Once you have a digital sort of brochure done, we can put it right up on the website. This way you can just send traffic there. Say it's on the website, all the info you need. So
yeah, so we'll have to brainstorm. I know Dory had offered to kind of sit with us and help with the literature part. And we did reach out to the Whitman Scouts, who had some ideas for us. So, it's just a lot of stuff that's like kind of floating around. But as soon as we can put that together, our big hope this year is, let's keep it simple. Let's just tout the facilities. Just, hey, rent it. You get this, you get that. And then everything else maybe for next year. But I do have a feeling we can rent out the 8 camp. Well, I think it's a total of, how do we do that? 8 weeks. I think we can do it. And it's just a matter of getting the material. So maybe for next meeting, I guess we can start putting something together.
Okay. Sounds good. Okay, next up is the discussion on the Camp Kawani sign. Brian Smith? Or
Hey.
anyone?
I think Dory was it your?
Yeah,
Dory?
want to
Dory?
take that, Brian?
Yeah,
Yeah.
why don't you, Dory? Because you.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. So, we've been talking about the sign at the street. And then we received, thank you, Brian, from you, that proposal from Brenner Signs and Awnings. And then I came onto this place, actually, Ed, our caretaker, gave us his name, Litchfield Sign. And he came out and I met with them. And he loved the sign. He's like, this is just redwood. You just can't even get this anymore. He's like, this probably cost like $9,000 when they put it in, like more than 20 years ago or in the 70s or whatever. He's like, this is great. And so they were excited about it and really want to do the job. So anyway, they sent us a proposal with a discount, and which was cute. And so it's like $3,600 to restore the sign, clean it, paint it, and then refurbish the beams. And then he would look into getting us solar lighting and a sign at the bottom, when we have events, to be able to put up, temporary signage for those types of events. So that was, and so now we have 2 proposals. One is less expensive than the other. And if I have a proposal to fund it, it comes under the CPC Article 1. So I just we want to know, have we decided that we don't want to buy a new sign, we want to refurbish the existing sign? Is that a definite?
Yeah.
Okay.
For me,
I'm
Okay. Oh, great. Okay, good.
well, Brian.
Brian. Go ahead, Brian.
Yeah, on the sign, the refurb is a good idea, I think. As far as below it, hopefully it's possible, because right now, I know it's all small stuff, but it all adds up. Right now, there's no, there's just a straight out phone number, 293-2333, and without the 781. And also maybe, I don't think I'd go for a lettered sign that you're constantly revolving. I think you're going to take people's eyes away from the street. And if you start getting accidents in front of the place, we're going to have a problem. I would see if maybe they can either add a 781 to the existing sign, or maybe take the 293-233 out and make another sign below that and attach it to it. And then you do the website, the 2 websites, and then you do the phone number with that. And I'm going to guess that they're going to take that sign down to refurbish it. If they are they going to be able to put something temporarily up there, just to, still say Camp Kawani for the phone number?
Yeah, we talked about that. And
Okay.
there were 2 guys, Keith and Kevin, and then our caretakers, Bill and Ed, and the 4 of them, they figured they could get the sign out, down in their truck into their workshop where they could do that. And we talked about that. They'd be happy to provide temporary signage, and even the sign at the bottom. They were like, yeah, we'll just kind of throw that in and look at the solar. They were really, they were really excited to work on the sign. So they want to work with us. They would be pleased if they ever got the job. But yeah, that's a good idea. I mean, I think the sign below it does need the website. It does need, the area code, and it does need, events that we'll have. So they seemed like, and they're from Pembroke.
And you're looking to go into CPC for this, right?
It falls under that, but I'm thinking I'm thinking when we go to CPC, because we waited, Diane, till you got here to talk about that,
Yeah.
how all the funding settles. So that would be part of that. So it kind of would be under, my feeling was the cabin, the money that we get from the cabin. So that's part of that discussion, though. So you can bring that up and you can, take a vote on that. But I'm glad if you like that idea. I mean, he is cheaper than, and shouldn't say cheaper, less expensive than Brenner signs. And if you like that idea, we don't have to go any more than that. as far as procurement purposes, we could just do that. And then we can talk about the funding, like when we talk about the CPC. But I guess I just mostly wanted to know, I'm glad everybody's of the mind that, yeah, let's restore that sign.
Very quickly, Diane Cohen has joined the meeting. She's the chairperson and will take over from here.
I just have a, just add, Dory, that his proposal here doesn't have anything about lighting.
No, it doesn't. He said he would get to us with the solar lighting
Okay,
and the sign below. He was going to, follow up with that.
okay, yeah, just make sure
So
we get a proposal.
I'm thinking the solar lighting, and it's probably going to be like another grant, something like that, he thought. But he'd follow up with that if we're interested in having him.
Dory, is the solar lighting something we can do afterwards, like
Yeah,
if we needed to? I mean, if we're
Definitely.
gonna go to CPC for it, we should just go for the whole gamut. And I think that would be a fine thing to go to CPC for it. It would certainly fall under, historical, and in fact, CPC just did a whole bunch of things for signs throughout the town, like markers and everything, historical markers. So, so it would definitely fall under that, and I'm happy to write something for that. If somebody else would want to take it though and do it, that would be appreciated. But, and I could look it over or whatever, but I think it's smart to go to CPC for it.
yeah.
So are we gonna vote on which proposal we're going to do so that someone can write it up?
Yeah.
In other words, right now, we're just sticking to the one thing, the sign, refurbishing the sign.
Yes, so
Yeah.
I'll entertain a motion that we accept the bid from, who are the guys in Pembroke? Tom?
Litchfields.
Litchfield.
Richfield. I don't have my paperwork with me right now. It's in the car with the rest of my groceries. And that I would like to include, though, the solar estimate in there.
Exactly.
So I don't want to accept it just yet, but that's the direction we're gonna go. So I actually probably shouldn't entertain a motion right now. I'd like to see his estimate on the solar, and I'd also like to maybe see who he's using for solar, and should we get somebody else to do the solar? Should we split the grant? Like, is it cheaper to have somebody else do it? I don't know.
Well,
Yeah.
he could, what he's gonna do is get a subcontractor. So
Okay.
it's gonna add to the cost. We can always get an electrician after the fact.
Okay. All right. So do you think it would be smarter, Brian, just to take care of the sign for now?
Yeah, and just see what it looks like. I mean, anything you're gonna do is gonna look much better. It's so faded. So,
Yeah.
I think that's exactly right. I think if you make a motion to accept Litchfield, then we can get going. And then when we go back on the CPC article, you'll see my idea for funding, because I know this is something we don't want to have it held up on. What if we don't get the funding from the CPC? So I have a method to fund it regardless. So I think tonight, if you vote on Litchfields, if you feel that's the way to go as is, and then, further on, we'll talk about solar lighting and the sign below. I think we could move forward on that. And then you'll see it all when we talk about the CPC.
Okay, so let's make a motion then would somebody make a motion, please, to accept the bid for a renovated sign from Litchfield, a
Litchfield.
restored and renovated sign from Litchfield, and with the intention of seeking funding through grants.
So
Or
moved.
available funding,
I'm sorry,
available funding.
grants and any available funding, yes.
Yeah.
So moved.
Thank you,
Second,
thank you. All those in favor, Brian Frazzetti,
Aye.
Joan Frazzetti,
Aye.
Melissa,
aye,
John Zuko,
Aye.
Diane Cohen, Brian Smith.
Aye.
Sorry, is Juby here?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Juby? Dory, stop laughing.
He's on
You
mute.
don't know how hard it is.
Sorry,
to
I kept
contain
saying
myself.
aye. I'm here. Aye.
Yeah, okay, I can't even, okay? I love you for being concerned,
Yeah, the Hanson police was on your neighborhood, so I got the dogs about ready to go. Thank God.
What? Okay, we'll talk later. I just can't. All right. But I don't understand it, but okay.
You butt dialed me and it sounded like you were like gurgling, for crying out loud. I thought, is she being strangled to death over here? I'm like, Diane. And then I had
Probably
Dory
getting
call
a
you.
carriage and it was raining. Oh my God.
That's what I heard. And I'm like, Diane. And I'm like, okay, she could be in trouble.
Thank you for being concerned.
Okay.
Okay. You're a dog. Thank you.
Okay, we have to go back now to the articles, the things we skipped over. One was the CPC article submission.
Yeah, so now that we have the paperwork from Gordon,
Mhm.
and do we have the written estimate from Chimney
We-
Chap?
Yeah, we do. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's probably in your car with the groceries, but
Yeah, it is.
that's okay. You're alive to see it. So that's all that matters. So if I can let me just take this, run you through it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay. So the CPC, we have $26,700 left to spend, and that's on repairs to the north end. So Gordon Lincoln has given us an estimate of $24,275, which includes all of the cabins in the north end, shuttering them, you can see the proposal shifting.
It's 2,475.
What's that?
24,000.
No, keep going, John.
Oh, keep going. Oh, okay. So there we go. Okay, I see now. Yep.
Yeah, he's given us like 5 proposals for 5
deal.
different things.
PJ.
So anyway, so what he neglected to put in there was the screen porch, which was the front door, the back door, and the back steps. So our mission was to have that, be able to spend that $26,700. Gordon gave us a proposal of $24,275. Once he adds that screen porch, we're there. So we can say to the CPC, we can, exhaust those funds, no trouble, in the north end, done. Now, this is what we need.
Oh, we want a date for that, by the way. An estimate.
Yeah, absolutely. So then, of course, we have, our needs, and then there, of course, the south end, shuttering all that. But okay, so this is 2-pronged. So we have needs, like the south end is $7,850. That's for all the shuttering. But we have to keep in mind that we have revenue from the cabin that was damaged. Now, you voted, as you know, at the last meeting that you really kind of wanted to not rebuild the cabin in that spot, but the cabin to the left, the one that's unusable, lift it up, fix the footings and put it back down. So now we have a usable cabin. So I asked Gordon to give us a price on that, and he did. And that was $3,600. So if that's the way that we go, you take the $19,655 that we get from the insurance company minus the $3,600 that we would restore a cabin. We now have another cabin that we didn't. Now we have $16,055 to work with. So I'm thinking in that $16,555, if we do the sign, we do the wood, which we just talked about, the wood stove, which was great news, had Chimney Chap come out and he looked at the wood stove in the Frontier cabin. The stove is intact. The chimney is intact. The only thing required is relining of the chimney, the flue. And that was like $2,800, which was great news. And then we just need to power wash the chimney on the outside. Then if you look, you'll see Gordon's proposal of the main lodge, and that was $3,475. That was to do, we talked about sanding, polyurethaning, new, baseboards, making the lodge look as good as the floors.
Mm-hmm.
Then if you go to the back deck, we talked about, taking off that lower beam and doing some, refurbishment out there. And then the computer we have to pay for, that's like $1,300. If we do all that if that's the way we go, if we do all that under the revenue we get from the cabin, we're left with like $1,400. But that $1,400 could also be used for the solar piece of the sign. So the question is, what are we going to ask CPC for? Well, we need an alarm service. That's 8,000. And Gordon's proposal of the south end having all the cabins reshuttered, the pavilions shuttered, and the front doors replaced because there's big holes in them. That was 17,850. So if we do that, my feeling is if we ask the CPC for 25,000, because we really need $24,445. If we ask the CPC for $25,000 and put all this out, that, in my opinion, I think that's what we should do.
Go ahead, Brian.
I was gonna give it to you because I know what you're gonna say about one of the things, but you can back tack that one when I'm done. As far as you said to talk to CPC about potentially doing security cameras, I think that they would be more amped to go after the sign and pay for that than security. I don't know if, and Diane might know, but obviously better than I, would security cameras even fall under CPC?
I don't think security cameras would be able to qualify.
Right, because I think what we should do is,
It's not restoration, it's not maintenance, it's not recreation, it's, is it a good idea? Sure. Would they love to fund it? Sure. But I don't think this scope, I'd be able to justify it in a grant.
We just swap off the sign for the cameras.
right, that's an
Yeah.
easy enough swap. Now,
Yeah.
when
The sign, they'll be all over. The sign
Yeah.
will fly.
Yeah,
that's a pretty even swap. Now, did
Yep.
Gordon also happen to say, now I know he wants to lift the cabin, put new footings there, but will he also take that stump or whatever caused that pregnancy in that cabin out of there?
I don't know. The way he was telling to me was that if he puts up
Just
the
sit on up,
footings
yeah.
and puts it back down, it would be above that
It'll
stump.
be above it.
Yeah.
Okay. So is he gonna lay a subfloor or will that floor just come down again?
I don't know. Did he say that in the proposal? Not specifically?
No, I didn't
Okay.
see anything in the
Yeah.
proposal.
Yeah, give me a little bit of a,
Yeah, he'll probably not lack of not secure it, but he'll keep it from dropping. He'll probably put some more studs in there to keep it from dropping back down.
Yeah.
But the one thing is, the two things is, the security is critical. We need to start on that, even if we just start in the lodge, because at that point we can expand on that as we go. Because
Yeah.
right now we have nothing. And then
Right.
on the other thing is the chimney in the frontier. I know we want to do that, but could that fall under CPC money? And that is a cabin that, granted, it is used, but how many people are actually using it for fires? I mean, I know it's on the list, as is the screen house, but I would think shuttering the north and south cabins would be the primary focus, just from a security standpoint and security, just so we can minimize damage going forward. That's my thoughts on it, but,
Well,
and then the sign, whether we can get it or not.
that did not sound good, Brian.
is that
Okay.
stump
That wasn't me.
growing?
No, that wasn't me, yeah.
Well, no, I mean, is that stump is the
Nobody's
stump
admitting
growing?
to it.
Is that
Okay.
you, John?
The stump
All right.
growing? Or is it?
No.
No.
No,
No.
it's dead.
All right, well, I mean, the north end cabin would be great. Dory, I thought we said that the chimney could come under the grant, but it can't because we want to do the screen house.
What's
Well-
with the screen house, though?
Well, that's repairs so we have $26,700 that we have to spend for repairs to the north end.
Yep.
So the screen house, so Gordon's estimate was 24,275. So the screen house is that cabin that's there that the doors were ripped off on the front and the back.
Right,
So if he added that to it, I think our goal is to just say to CPC, listen, that 26,700, we know, we know what we need to do. This is what we need to do. So then, of course, we have other asks. I mean, we could just do that. We have the south end and we have sign. Those would all fall under it. And I'm just trying to figure out, because we want to do this before the end of the fiscal year, the revenue that we get from the cabin, if we don't, if we go that route, you'd need to take a vote tonight. Then we'd have 16,000 to spend on other needs. If that's what, which I think.
Okay. I very strongly feel we should do the chimney in the north end. I don't want to go back to CPC with stuff that,
No, the only thing we'd have to go to CPC for would be the south end, the 17,850 and the sign. And so we'll take the alarm system off and then put the sign in, which was like, say, $4,000.
right.
So we could go to CPC and ask for 20,000 if you want. You could say 20,000 for all the repairs to the south end
Yep.
and the sign.
And the sign. Yeah,
Yeah.
because what I don't want to do is go and put anything from the north end on a new grant.
I agree. So how about that? The south end, all the cabins shuttered and all that in the pavilion, and the sign for the CPC.
Okay, so what is the North End grant gonna entail? Just the one we have in place now?
So that would entail the money that we have to spend out of that we already have, the 26,000. That will include Gordon's, the 24,000. That will shutter all the cabins in the north end, fix all the footings in the north end. And it will be that screen house to there's no doors, a front door and a back door that they used to be, but they got ripped off.
No doors, and the screening is all down on it.
Yeah, repair that. I should say just repair that. Yeah, repair that screen house.
Are we gonna leave those doors locked on that screen house? Because if we don't, they're just gonna rip them down again. I mean,
Well, if we leave them open, they can just get in and they
well,
won't have to rip them down.
but if they
I
get,
know.
to be honest, there's no security there. They're gonna cut the screens again.
Well,
It's gonna save it.
this is the caretakers would like us to leave the cabins open because people are breaking in anyway. Dory, did you tell them about the electrical cabin?
Not yet. No, I just came to my mind. You want to take it?
Okay.
Or you want me to?
No, it's fine. So, I mean, what happened when we were scoping out places to light up for the Winter Wonderland was the small electrical cabin, the second one from the bridal cottage. Dory couldn't get into it. So while John Kemet was over there looking at the electricity, what happened was the kids crawled up underneath it and got into the cabin and bolted and nailed the door shut from the inside.
Oh my God.
Nice. That's nice, yeah.
So the thing is
Was that damn?
until we get security there all over the camp, or until it's running all the time with something, or we have a caretaker there with cameras, whatever, we're going to face this problem.
Well, that's why we need to start the security in the lodge so we can expand on it.
We absolutely do need to start that, but I think in the meantime, I think it's going to take a lot of years until we can really have enough cameras to secure the entire property.
Yep.
So I don't know, guys. I think we have to consider, like, the screen house. I think it should remain open.
Just put doors on it.
I replaced
Or
the
no.
screen.
Yeah.
I would put doors on it, but leave them open.
Yeah.
That's fine. That's fine, because they're gonna rip, if you don't, they're gonna rip into it again.
Right.
Yeah.
I'd rather have it open.
Yep.
Okay, Brian, go ahead.
It should almost make a, I don't want to say gazebo out of it, but just make a porch out of it. Take the screens out and just put railings up so people don't fall off the side. Might be a little cheaper to do than
Yeah,
replacing screens, and they're gonna end up cutting the screens again like they always do. As far as security cameras go, I wasn't there when the security team was there, but there is a way that we can probably, depending on what they were looking at for cameras and what angles they were putting in there, if you can catch the people coming in on a good enough camera, then you can put the picture out there on Facebook like everybody else seems to do. Like who took my mail? This jerk off took my mail out of my mailbox. Have you seen him? The place is always going to get broken into. That's the way it's been for years and years and years. Unlocking the cabins, I don't think is a smart move. So they broke into one cabin, and how much time is kind of the question. You know, the other one I believe was on the north end. They cut a screen to get into. But if they're on lockdown, a lot of people are going to just keep walking by. They were pretty smart, you know, cutting a hole in the floor, but how often is that going to happen? I wouldn't unlock those doors for that reason.
Well, the other thing too, I would like to consider, Dory, and I don't know how possible this is when all this damage occurs, I mean, I think our insurance should cover.
Yeah, yes,
We need to start claiming it all.
yeah. Well, the problem is we have a $2,500 deductible.
I understand that. No, I know
Yep.
that, but
Yep.
you know what? If we
I
could
know.
just, if we let it build
It
up
should be
and claim-
documented nonetheless.
I'm sorry?
It should be documented nonetheless. I agree
If
with
we
you.
document it and, you know, we
Is
look
there
at
a-
it.
Yeah. I'll file a claim because we just found out about it this weekend. I'll file a claim on that for sure.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Is there a police report that's been done on it?
No, we just found out because I couldn't get open the door. I thought it was the top of the door. I was like,
Okay.
I thought it was, I don't know what I thought, and we couldn't open it. And then
Right.
we
No,
found
you
out on
thought- you thought
Saturday
the
that it
wood
was
was
padlocked
swollen.
from the inside. Yeah, I thought the door was swollen,
But
but it was winter.
so the thing is we do need to at least call the police and fill out a report, document it every single time something happens,
I agree.
so that we can establish a record for insurance, for just the need to have the security there, so that people understand what the situation really is.
Exactly.
Go ahead, Brian.
Go ahead,
So-
Brian. Brian, I said, go ahead.
Which one?
Which one?
I don't know. Brian Smith, are you raising your hand? Because I don't have you on my camera.
No,
Go ahead,
I'll let
Steph.
Brian start.
Okay.
Okay. Obviously, we need a police report on it, but as far as the insurance company goes, if the damage isn't up to $2,500, it might be kind of senseless to even contact them about that, because if they're like any other insurance company, the more claims you put in, the better odds you're going to get shut off. And I don't know if the town runs that way or not.
I don't know either, but I'm gonna
Well,
find out. It's worth a shot at finding out. You pay insurance and
I know that I handled the insurance through the town of Abington. It was document,
yeah,
everything,
Do it.
every little thing. So,
And that got sent to the insurance company too?
yeah,
Dory? Okay.
everything. Yeah.
I just wasn't sure, because I know when you
Yep.
own a home,
They-
the more they hear from you, the less they want to deal with you.
yeah.
One other
Real-
thing is,
Municipalities are weird, it's
Yep.
it's its own animal, but yeah, I'll definitely take care of that for sure.
another thing is, do we have an idea when the police are patrolling? I mean, shouldn't
No.
they- can we get some sort of, I don't know, schedule when they're coming up? I know that it's ever changing, but I never see any cop cars up at the camp. I mean, is
I
that
see
something? we can put on
the water department comes up a lot. I don't know
Yeah.
why. I don't see the police much.
No, and they should, even at night, just do a circle,
Yeah.
they come up twice a night.
Can I ask a question? What about the gate? Why isn't that never locked?
Yeah.
Or even
The
shut?
gate, the gate by the gatekeeper's house, right?
Always open, isn't it?
I know.
At dusk.
Yeah.
I don't know if it has something to do with the fact that there's nobody at the camp at night. And should someone be drowning or hurt in the middle of the woods there, have walked up, then the firemen or the police may have a difficulty getting to it. I don't know, but it's something we can ask about.
Just a quick note on that.
Yeah.
The camp does have hours, and what you have in front of the caretaker's house is what they call a crash gate. So even if there's a lock on there, one, the police and fire department, obviously, they get a copy of the key. And secondly, if for some reason they have to get through it quick, all they do is hit it and the gate just breaks wide open.
Okay.
We have one of these down Elm Street by the walking trails, and if an ambulance gets down, they unlock it. If they have to get in there quick, they're just breaking through.
You mean they can crash through it?
Right, they crash through it and it splits. So I don't know. I mean, we have hours there, kick everybody, maybe send a caretaker down with the police, kick everybody out, lock the gate.
And it is up to us what we do with that. So, you know what? I mean, maybe if we can ask the history on how that started. But if we want to lock it, that's not something we have to ask permission for.
Right, I'm not saying that, but I would probably feel more comfortable if we did lock it, like a member of the police station do a walkthrough with a caretaker. So that way they're not just saying, hey, buddy, you got to leave. And then the caretaker's alone.
Yeah.
If you know what I'm saying.
If there's no cars in the parking lot, though, you can just.
Oh, you just lock it down.
Right.
Yeah, no, I mean, there's certain hours. So, yeah, I have no problem with locking the gate.
You probably have to talk to both the police and the fire and find out what regulations they want to do
I was
with
just gonna
that.
say that. Do you want me to call the police and the fire and figure out what the deal is with that?
Well, just ask them, yeah, if they know the history and if
Yeah.
we propose closing the gate during non-operational hours,
Right,
what would their suggestions be?
yeah.
Sorry, we're kind of off the CPC thing.
Okay,
Okay. So to bring us back on track on the CPC, I think we need two separate votes. One, if you want to take a vote tonight to put an article forth to the CPC to fund the south end shuttering of the cabins for $17,850 and the sign for, I'd say like 4,000, because we got to, weigh in some, solar and stuff like that. So maybe 25,000 for the sign and the south end.
Okay, so do you want to do two separate grants or do you want to do one altogether?
Well, it's an article, right, for the CPC, for them to fund. I would say one article to fund the sign and the south end. $25,000.
Don't we have to go to CPC first?
Well, yeah, I'll submit the article so that it gets
you
on the
have to write
warrant.
the article.
Yeah, I'll do that. Yeah, I'll submit the article. They have to be in by March 3rd. I'll submit the article and we'll get moving on it.
Okay.
And then do you want to take a vote on that first? Or
Yeah, so you're talking about two separate articles.
no, one article to the CPC to fund the south end shuttering of the
That's what I'm-
cabins of the pavilion and the repairing of the doors on the pavilion and the sign, which I think both fall under historical.
I know the sign definitely does.
Yeah.
The other one could fall under recreation.
Exactly, if not historical. I mean, we're on the register.
Wait a minute.
Right, but
The
I
sign-
just want to know which pot to ask from,
Well, the sign would be what? Historical?
Sign would
Yeah.
be historical and whichever one has the most money, we can ask for either historical or recreation.
Your buildings would probably be historical too, because you're bringing them back to historical. I wouldn't think that would be recreation. I mean, if you're talking bows, arrows, canoes and things like that, I think that's more recreation pool.
I agree, but depending where the money is,
Right.
if I have to make a case for recreation with the cabins, then I think I could, based on the fact that they are used for recreation and they need to be maintained, and they need to be
Correct. Right. You have to see which one has the bigger plot.
right.
But also something we need to think about before and you might have, if you do separate them into recreation versus, the sign being historical. We do have to get rid of some of the boats this year, and we do have to replace them. I just don't know where we're getting the money from to replace them. And I don't know if that's maybe a thought that could go in with that. The recreation part of it is to maybe price out the boats. You could probably price out some fishing equipment, and you could probably price out some bows and whatnot. I know Bill knows a lot about bows. He was the instructor that we sent to get trained.
Right.
Maybe we can, very rapidly get some pricing together for that, the additional things.
Yeah. I did talk to Bill. He says we do need everything. We need,
Right.
bows, arrows, targets, all that.
Right. I mean, and Bill's the outdoors man. Do you think that, obviously through the commission, can maybe we have Dory say, hey, Bill, can you get us some prices on, because he taught the kids, so he knows about how much draw weight they're going to be able to pull and all that other stuff. Get some prices on bows, get some prices on targets, get the prices on the backdrop, get some prices on some fishing equipment, and prices on, the replacement. I think it's a canoe or two. And we also have maybe a couple of those paddle boats.
We want to go with kayaks rather than canoes, but yeah, we can get prices on all of that. I think there was a grant before we came on as a commission for the South End that did all the beds, right?
No, they got in trouble for that. They weren't supposed to make the beds, but they made the beds. So when they went in front of CPC, they said, no, you have to put that money back. Because it doesn't cover anything internal like beds or mattresses or any of that stuff. It's all external and foundational.
Okay. So we would be covered. So that South End money, they had to give back.
Right, because they went internal and they started
Right.
building beds out of it. But anything external is clear.
So then in the history of the CPC's dealings with the camp in the last 7 or 8 years, there's been the one grant for the North End and then the docks.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, it was more than North End because we gave them a large chunk of money back for something, but I forget what
That was for the North End. That was from the North End.
That was
we
for the
gave it
North
back.
End. Okay.
For
Yeah.
the docks. Yeah, we put
No,
some
Because we
back.
bought the screens and we held 25,000, 26,000 up in reserve. And then we gave back the other so we could get the money for the docks
Right.
to make
Okay.
the difference. So we paid for part of the docks and they paid for the rest of it. So,
Right.
that's how that worked. Mike, okay, can we, on the Gordon things, okay, can we go back to, it's the last one that's on the thing and work one by one on his sheet so that we know where we stand. The work needed at the North End, okay, we're gonna add what he had plus add the screen house repair, and that's gonna take care of all the $26,000, right?
Correct.
Okay, so we have to send them a notice because they're asking what we're doing with the money. So at least if we can do this and say that will be done this year,
Yeah.
Right.
that would give a finality to that sheet.
Right.
Then the
Exactly.
other one,
It still won't close it out, but at least they'll be looking for it, and
it should close it out.
it won't close it out until we spend the money.
Well, right, but I mean, you need to let them know that we have we have someone to
Yeah.
do the work and with the price we got, and that it'll be done in this year.
Right.
And once we have a date as to when he can do it, then it's gonna have to happen all summer long, so,
Right.
because there's a lot of work there. But at least we have the person and we have the price quotes. And then we can present that to them to show that we are using up the majority of, or all of that money.
Yeah.
Then we have to go to that other sheet that the $17,850 is on. That
Yep.
one there is for the south cabins.
Yep.
Okay, so we're just gonna deal with that amount, plus you wanna add to that CPC the sign?
Yep.
Okay, so,
Exactly.
Make our motions then.
yeah, we need to have motions for the sign. The electrical sign was the sign was 3,600, correct?
So we're gonna do
Correct.
4,000.
But I think we're gonna ask for 4, right?
Yes.
Yeah, at least 4. I mean,
Okay.
even with honestly, with the solar and the sign below it, it could be close to 5.
Yeah, I'd say
Because from-
do $5,000.
Because from Brenner, if you look at Brennan's sign, his was like almost $2,000 for 2 solars. So I'd feel comfortable with
Where are
5.
these guys getting their solars? I'm seeing prices on Amazon for solar spotlights for like $50.
Yeah, but that's,
Yeah, I don't know.
that's
I
just,
don't know how good they are, but I mean,
I mean, I don't know. But
how
we
much
have that
more
quote
could it cost?
I know, that's my question. Like, are we going overboard, or would like one solar spotlight do the trick?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, that was Brennan's
I
proposal.
mean, the towns are putting solar on all of their signs, so,
Mhm.
and that's,
I mean-
that's attached to that. Okay.
Yeah,
oh,
Put my hand in your face. Hey, as far as the lighting goes, I mean, we can ask for $5,000, but I would, as Brian said, why let him sublet an electrician when we
Yeah,
have
right.
2 electricians that can put the
Right.
stuff in for probably half the price? So it would be smart of us to obviously ask for the higher amount. And then if we get our own electrician, which is probably what we're gonna do, to pop in 2 solar lights, low condensing, obviously, so the neighbors don't get all
Yeah.
choked up. Not that they'd ever do that, and they would beam down on it, but the electrician would probably be half the price of what they want for the solar.
right. This would just be getting the request in on time.
Right, but no, I agree. I would
Yeah.
go for as much as you can possibly go for, and
So-
if it costs less, oh well, we'll give you a few bucks back.
5.
Yeah.
5.
Yeah.
So I think
5.
25,000 between the south end, the sign, the solar, that comes with the solar, and then the advertising below. 25,000,
Mm-hmm.
I think
Yeah.
is fair.
Okay, so
Okay.
let's make so on this one particular sheet with the 17,850, we're gonna make it a $25,000 request to CPC to do.
Because Yes, right.
Okay.
Because it's gonna
Okay.
include the sign at 3,600, which we've just extended to 5,000, because we're gonna include solar and signage below. So
Well, I
25,000. So we just need you to take a vote on that
Yeah, because
tonight.
he was the other guy was asking for a total of, what was it? He wanted 1,900 for the solar, and then he wanted 4,068, so that's almost 5,000, well, that's $6,000, close to $6,000.
Right, and I need to keep those estimates for the purpose of writing a grant, Dory.
Yeah,
So, so we just don't get rid of any of that information.
right.
Okay, now that we're all confused,
Yeah.
Dory, can you word that out, so we
Yeah.
can do a motion on it, please?
Yeah, if somebody could just make a motion to send to the
meeting.
CPC and the Recreation Commission is gonna submit an article in the amount of $25,000. $17,850 for repairs to the south end, including the pavilion shuttering, cabins shuttering, repairs to the doors, and a new sign out front in the amount of $5,000, which is
Not a new
repairing,
sign, not a new sign.
repairing, yeah,
a
repair,
refurb-
restoring the existing sign
Right.
and solar and a removable sign below.
Holy
Can
cow.
we do a so
They're just
moved
so
on that?
moved. Yeah, can we
So
just?
moved.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So moved.
Second.
Melissa.
Second by
Okay.
Brian Smith. All those in favor, Melissa?
Aye,
Aye, Joan?
Aye.
Julie?
Aye.
aye.
Brian?
Aye.
Brian? John?
Aye.
Aye, okay, that motion
Okay.
carries.
Else?
So, okay, so I just need 2 other things. So now, we talked about it, the last meeting, you talked about the cabin. You decided you didn't want to rebuild a new one. You wanted to, move, we talked about this, move the old one up, do all that and bring it back down. If that's the case, with the funding that's remaining, I think I would need a vote to do, the wood stove, the main lodge, the back deck, all that, all the other work we just talked about with that money. Is that what you're inclined to do?
Does that
Spend that
include
money that we
security
have in
too?
that fashion? What?
Would that include security too?
Yeah, because we're swapping out the sign for security, yes.
Yeah.
So we get the computer, the security, we'd get the wood stove, we'd get the lodge done, we get the back deck done, all that out of the funding that we get out of the insurance from the cabin.
Oh, that would work.
And
Yeah.
Yeah, what she just said.
Dory,
Yeah, yeah,
what-
Mary, can you list that again, those items? I'm sorry.
yeah, of course. So we'd be able to pay for the flue in the wood stove in the Frontier cabin. We'd be able to pay for the work done in the main lodge, to make it look.
Partnership, yep.
Yep. We'd be able to pay for the back deck, the beam being removed.
Mhm,
We'd be able to pay for my computer,
mhm.
and we'd be able to pay for the security system out of the
Yeah.
cabin money.
And that includes the repair work to the cabin that's currently there too.
Yes,
Okay.
absolutely. Good
I just
point.
wanted to make sure that
Yes.
was on the list.
Yes, that's
Which-
minus
which,
the 3,600. Yes,
Which
exactly.
cabin are we talking about? The one with the bowed floor?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. And what are we doing in the lodge?
What we're doing, Diane, is we're just, so from the windows down, he's
Yeah,
gonna
the-
sand.
Yeah,
Yep, because it
I
looks
talked-
gross.
I talked to Brian Ayers about that. Okay.
Yeah, it looks gross. He's gonna
Yeah.
sand it, he's gonna polyurethane it, and
Yep.
he's gonna put some matching floorboard, I'm not sure what you call it. I lost my train of thought on the bottom.
Yeah.
The
Molding, the beam.
Yeah, the molding, whatever, to make it look like the other molding. And he thinks that, so we're gonna do like not even halfway down, a quarter of the way down,
Right,
and it's gonna blend and
Right.
make a big difference.
okay. Okay,
All right, so now the third thing was, I think you just said you wanted to submit an article to CPC for recreation for kayaks and
archery
archery and stuff like
equipment,
that?
archery
Right.
equipment, kayaks,
Yeah,
and
fishing?
fishing.
fishing equipment.
Your
like-
fishing poles are gonna be about $20 a piece for the rods and reels. I mean, you think they're cheap, but they're not. They're about 20 a piece. Your bows and your bows are probably gonna be about $200 to $300 a piece. That's why I say maybe Bill, being the outdoors guy he is, you might be able to get deals. for
Yeah.
us.
Well, I would really like to shoot the moon here and try and get a paddle boat.
Yeah.
That would be great.
Awesome.
Do
We
you have
had two
any-
before.
Yeah, we should.
Not
We had
since I've
two.
lived in
They,
Hanson.
those got retired when we joined the commission. The two paddle boats.
Funny how that worked.
Yeah, a
Um,
lot of stuff like the golf carts got retired, but we never saw those.
Yeah.
Hired mean. What?
They
Kind of vanished.
They
MIA.
retired to a sunnier part of Hanson, we believe.
So do you
Okay.
have a dollar amount that you're thinking about for the recreation piece? I know you want me to ask Bill for his opinion and pricing and stuff, but just, could you have some sort of ballpark figure that you're thinking of, or, only because this has to be in by March 3rd, so. we
I would
won't-
go with 5,000.
Okay,
I would go higher, Diane.
10 grand.
10?
But we're already asking them for,
Yeah, but this is recreation only though, Dane. You're gonna.
Yeah,
the
this is
boat-
recreation, not
Those
historical.
boats are gonna be expensive, especially if you go for two paddle boats like we used to have. Those aren't gonna be cheap.
You might err on the side of caution with asking for money. We need, I mean, let's
Well, I
not
know,
shoot for the moon.
well, I would say a
Right.
max of 10. Just to be safe, because again, your archery equipment's gonna cost a lot of money. It's
I
gonna add up.
know.
Archery
And-
equipment alone is probably gonna run you 3 to 4 grand. Because you're talking the bows, the arrows, you're talking again, the backdrop, you're talking the targets and all that. You're probably sitting on about 3 grand there, at least.
And you can get a decent kayak for like $250 each.
Right,
we
and I
can
think
get
we're
4 of
replacing
those.
3. Yeah, 3 or
well,
4 of
we would get
those.
4 for 1,000. And then, so that's 4,000. And then how much is a paddle boat?
Well,
John
the
Zuko,
paddle
where
boat,
are you with your Amazon looking? You're searching.
with the paddle boat, is there a COVID concern there? Because that's multiple people on the boat.
Yeah, but at the same time,
It's
Only two.
if they're from the same family, then it's doable.
A two-person paddle boat is almost $900 on Amazon.
So $1,000.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, 10 grand is gonna go like that.
I know.
Okay,
See, it's
we might-
not like the general fund that has no money and we're cutting. It is the CPC. They have money to fund. They're looking to fund. I
Yeah.
think we should, because it's not anything to do with the general fund. I do. My
Okay.
opinion.
And we want to fix up the, I would recommend also with that money, we look into fixing up the volleyball net area. I mean,
There
Yeah.
you go.
it's all torn
so-
apart. And I think, Dor, you mentioned before, and I don't know if this flies into that or not, but putting fire pits at every cabin.
Yeah, that was gonna come under a possible grant.
Okay.
But Deb Petty said to me today that may not occur. So let's put that in there. My opinion, I'm throwing this out here right now. 25,000 for historical, 25,000 for recreation.
Whew.
Just my opinion.
I can spend it.
Yeah,
No,
well, you know,
all they can say
Dory,
is
can we,
no.
that sounds like a shooting for the moon, but that's awesome. Can we
No.
buy a big movie screen with it too?
Oh, jeez.
Under recreation, you can.
Well, no, seriously.
Under
they
recreation, you
rent
can.
those things and you can buy them for like $2,000. Can you imagine the
Dude.
big thing you could put
Well-
in the field, and then we could have like, in addition to the Boy Scout package, we could be like have an outdoor movie night. Like how cool
Yeah.
is that?
It would totally draw campers in.
It would. And you know,
Right.
Diane, they have the money to spend. They get the money from the taxes. I mean, you're paying for it. They have to fund this. And you know, what's better than Camp Kawani with recreation and historical? This is where the money should go. This is where they want the money to go. I know it.
Yeah. And you got to do it before PCH comes up, because once PCH comes up, that money's gone.
Well,
Yeah.
July 1, we're talking a whole different world. We're not going to have
Oh, yeah.
anything. So this is our time. And that's my opinion. It's your decision, but that's my feeling.
Okay.
25,
PCH is
25.
So you want
Is-
50 and 50. I mean,
Yeah.
25 and 25.
You just have to
Definitely.
get a comprehensive list together, obviously, maybe through Bill. If Bill needs some help, he can call me.
Yeah.
We can get a comprehensive list. John Zuko can help out too, or whoever wants to. I mean, everybody
Yeah.
can take a piece of the pie, and I'm sure we can come up with enough, things to do at this camp that hasn't been done in so many years.
Yeah, like Juvie just mentioned the movie screen. I mean,
Correct.
right.
Hmm.
So all they can do is say no. So, but that, no's not a bad thing either, but it would, shame on us if we don't ask. That's my
Okay.
feeling.
All right.
PCH already has something that they're asking for, but I don't know how much.
Who does?
PCH,
Yeah.
Matt's group, they've got something in there,
Yeah, I know.
but I don't know for what and how much. I can't remember. Was that one of the meetings they mentioned it, but I don't remember.
I've been at so many meetings and I've missed the last two for
You
Well-
weren't at the last one that they had that I saw recorded.
I know.
But-
Okay.
And then Tom was
So,
at
we
financial
need to
too.
make a motion here because I gotta get going here.
Okay, so,
Dory.
so we're all set with the the CPC articles, we're all set 25, 25.
Yep.
And then the cabin, are we all set with the insurance money, the revenue from there, spending on everything we discussed tonight?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. All right then.
Can you send that giant list out to all of us, please?
Pardon me?
I didn't write it down. I
Can
stunk
you
in
send
school.
a summary?
Oh, yeah,
Yes,
yeah,
please.
of course. Of course.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Movie screen, it costs you about $325 plus with tax. Then you gotta add tax. 24-foot,
How much, John?
24-foot inflatable screen is $234.
Really? That seems really cheap, John.
Yeah,
That's
that's
it?
around that. Yeah, that's what they're going. They're not really that expensive.
Biggest
There's a
we can have.
nicer one for like $385, 25-foot.
I was seeing one for $1,500.
Crazy.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, is that
25-foot,
small?
$385 with the stand.
Is that an outdoor, John?
Yeah,
indoor?
outdoor. Yep, inflatable.
Okay. Because I know it's gonna be thick, obviously. When you go there.
Yeah. So
But we could get it in the lodge if we needed to do an indoor thing too.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
No, I want one. I want a bigger one than that. have events and we're gonna have people come, I don't want any complaints that people can't see this.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
25 foot.
I'm not, I don't want to deal with those customers.
Exactly.
The one indoor, the one inside the lodge is tiny too. The pull down
Yeah.
one,
Yeah, it's small. Yeah.
a little outdated.
Hmm.
So
People
I
have
always go for
TVs
that.
bigger than that screen.
Yeah, I know.
we
Some
ever-
people do.
Did we ever find out from the high school what they did with their screen?
Yeah, it was very, we pulled it out and it was very disappointing, right, Diane?
Yeah. Yeah, it wasn't big at all. No. Terrible.
It was terrible.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was like a piece of construction paper.
Yeah.
Moving
Okay.
on.
Move on. Okay. John, where are we now? Sorry.
We are now at the macaroni kids.
No, we just skipped
No.
that. We skipped that.
We tabled
Okay.
that.
Yeah, I think we,
20, excuse me, 2022 budget.
That's no pressure, Diane. That's just on there, every meeting, just in case there's anything we want to talk about.
I don't have time to talk about it tonight. And
No,
there's
ne-
really
no, I
going-
don't
not
have
going to
anything
be
to
much
add.
to talk about.
Right.
And have we gone? Okay, what's next? Sorry.
That's it. Whole business.
Okay. Have we gotten any correspondence, Dory? Were we able to find out if we could advertise, and John Zuko, you may know better about this, to sort of push the 2 open dates that we have for those weddings that were canceled so that we can give those people back their money?
What were the dates?
The 2022 one, I know right
Oh.
offhand, one is May 29th, 2022. I don't know the date. Yeah, the other one was 2022 too. I don't know. What are your thoughts, John, on that?
Those will probably sell. I mean,
Yeah.
I would, yeah.
I think so.
Those will sell. Those will go to the people that are going to cancel for this year.
I no kidding.
The tongs are out there. Just flip
oh man, I hope not.
I've already got June ones going to next year.
Do
Oh.
you?
Yeah, yeah.
I
Oh,
don't yet. We
God.
don't
Crazy.
yet. Oh,
Mm.
man.
Okay, well,
Yeah.
you know what? I thought you were gonna have correspondence, Dory, on the Hanson Cultural Council awarded us $1,000.
Yes.
Oh,
Or,
yeah, yeah.
um,
That's you, Juvie.
Yeah, so guys, I think we need to so it's $1,000. The thing is we need to show the receipts, and we were hoping to do like a full week. Walmart did not follow through on their promise of giving us the monies, but there is a local company in town that is thinking about a sponsorship. We have to just kind of work out the details. So the $1,000 from the Cultural Council can fund one and a half days right now because it's $1,000. So the Hanson Public Library is going to do all of the registration. They're going to connect with the middle school. And this one is going to be for 5th, 6th, and 7th graders. Only 15 for each session due to COVID. We're going to be using Needles Lodge, the pavilion, and hopefully like the deck, I guess. And we're doing a 9 to 12. We have hired a yoga person because it's in yoga was actually from the Indian civilization. I don't know. And then we're going to do a West African drum circle. So the yoga is for movement. West African drum circle is for music, and then Celtic art. So it's basically Irish and like I don't know, Scandinavian type art. The kids are going to paint on a canvas board. Just art that's already been kind of imprinted. So between like the instructors, we have to contract out. That day is going to be $750, and then the other $250 we can transfer over to Thursday, which is not fully funded yet because we only have some of the monies for the we're gonna do a Chinese theater, children's theater. I don't know if you're familiar with that, but they're gonna have somebody from the Chinese American organization in I don't know, Newton, Wellesley, something like that. They're gonna come out and they're gonna I think they're gonna paint, well, any kid that wants to get the faces painted, and then do like a I don't know, theater, like folklore, Chinese folklore, and then hopefully get somebody to do calligraphy, Chinese calligraphy. And then we're hoping this one should be free from from Stop and Shop, they have a sushi person in Norwell that they can lend out to help kids make sushi. So we're kind of representing different cultures, and it's called Ancient Civilizations, which we were kind of hoping to run, but we the only funds that we would probably need to discuss, and we don't have to discuss it now, is the remainder 500, which I think the Friends of Camp Kawani will be able to give us. But we have to request it from the Friends of Camp Kawani, if that makes sense.
Mhm.
So it shouldn't cost the rec commission anything, because we technically should have 1,000 from the Cultural Council and another 1,000 from the Friends and that company that's going to be donating to the
Is this
Friends.
for a summertime event?
No, April vacation, we're going to shoot for.
Okay.
We're going to give it a shot, 9 to noon, April vacation.
The only thing that crossed my mind was when I heard sushi, I can see the Board of Health. Right, yeah.
Well, they don't have they can have sushi that doesn't have to have fish in it. It can be just vegetables and such. But again, we're going to come up against the preparation in the kitchen with the butcher block cabinets, the butcher block counters, if they even do it in the kitchen and if they can social distance.
I think Brian had a question.
Brian, go ahead.
Yeah, you just put my antenna up when you said Friends of Camp Kawani, the people that we haven't heard from in probably 3-4 years. Are we going to have a sit down with them and discuss things with them? Because I don't want to just rely on $500 coming my way without us finally putting all the water under the
yes,
bridge.
Brian, we are.
We
We're
have
actually going to reach
we have
out
an
to them.
intermediary to do this with them.
Yeah,
Which
we
I'm not-
do. Yeah,
Yeah.
we do. We have somebody that is going to be helping us. We have some legal assistance as well. So, but the conversation is going to begin. We're hoping by April we have the conversation that will be kind of started and then going, and then we'll have some we have some new people that want to be a part of it. So we're looking forward to that partnership again, because instead of using the Children's Museum 501c3, we really ought to be using Camp Kawani, the Friends of Camp Kawani. It's a much easier ask, much just in terms of grants and things, so much easier, more relevant. So it's a work in progress, Brian, but we're really optimistic. Everybody seems to be looking forward to doing good things at Camp Kawani. So we're gonna kind of drive on that hope, I guess, right?
Well, I don't have a problem with the Friends of Camp Kawani. I never did. The only problem that we ended up having right out of the gate is they, at that time, and I'm hoping things have changed, when they said, okay, we have X amount of dollars, we get to choose where the money goes to. And the Recreation Commission pretty much had no say. I'm hoping that the conversation can lean towards an agreed upon targeted goal, rather than just saying, well, we want to put a bathroom in. We don't want your input. This is what we see. And that's kind of the way we left it last time we talked to them, it was what they wanted to do, what they wanted to raise money for. It didn't matter what we wanted. And
no, I think you're going to see a change of heart, only because I think we've got some new folks that are going to be helping out, and I don't know that that's a sentiment now so much as I think there's a willingness to open up conversations. So I think we need to kind of put that to the past and take a look at these two things that we really need. I mean, we are a rec commission, we need to have rec, but we also need it funded. And unfortunately, with this whole setup with the municipality, we're blocked every single, part of the way. And our route to success is getting our friends to work with us again, because they've done good things, and so that's what we're going to focus on. So next meeting, I hope that we get the letter from the Cultural Council, because Dory, they said they sent it, and then we will hear a little bit more about specifically what we're gonna get from camp, from the Friends, what kind of commitments we're gonna get, but that conversation is still ongoing.
Okay, so this is something that is in the works, and we can just plan. We'll know more when we know more about our funding, but right now it's tentatively planned for April vacation, and we will probably have 2 days funded, correct?
Yes. So right now we only have really a day and maybe
Right.
a quarter.
Day and a half, she said.
Okay.
Yeah, so we're definitely Tuesday, guys. So I think the library wants to get on it. They're thrilled to work with us, and
Right.
obviously thrilled that it's going to be free. But the other thing too is that legwork, that registration piece is going to be done by the library, which is awesome.
That's a huge pain in the where off of ours. That's a
Yes,
big
yes.
responsibility that's not on our plate. So that's huge. I can speak more professionally. I'm just not in it right now.
Well, no, it's late.
After what you've been through, Diane,
I'm sorry.
after what you've been through tonight.
Well, seriously, you could have been I don't know. Come on, you girls. I was all nervous. It was a gurgling sound. Seriously, Diane, I thought you were
Okay.
being choked.
And Juvie, again, thank you for the concern. I do appreciate it. And it was nice to talk to the police today. They're very nice.
Oh no! Did they get a hold of you?
They
Did they go-
called me and had me call them back.
Oh, cripes. Okay, good. You're alive. See, this is good. We know
It
that
is
we know
good.
that our tax dollars are at work. There you go.
Well, I was
Exactly.
laughing. All right,
Just a
let's
compliance
move on. Okay, is there any correspondence?
I have no correspondence.
Okay.
You girls.
Okay, you already discussed the Winter Wonderland and the success that it was.
Yes.
And that was such a great thing. I hope we get to do it again, only much more organized this time. And then we know what to expect.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
And hopefully the fire department will partner with us on that. So I think we need to ask the fire department sooner rather than later on that. So we need to pitch that idea to them, Juvie, okay?
Yeah, I'm gonna have if possible, guys, can we invite, I think the gentleman's name is Charlie Barons. Can we invite him to a meeting, to a RecCom meeting, just to kind of start the conversation? I mean, I think our feeling was, I know they like to do a holiday thing. Our feeling was it would be wonderful to do Feb vacation again, since a lot of people really didn't, not everybody goes away, and a lot of people really appreciated this in February. But I mean, we have to hear from the fire department what they want.
Okay, so let's invite them to a meeting, Dory.
Okay.
Ask them if they'd be better in March or April.
Yeah. And what was the
February.
name, Juvie?
Charlie Barron.
Charlie Barons. I have his contact, Dory.
Okay.
I
Okay.
can share that.
And Juvie, where do you want me to send the receipts?
Can you give me a copy? Because I need to, did you say you were going to scan it and send it to me so I can
Do you
add it to
want-
the
That's
paperwork?
what I'm asking. Do you want me to scan it and send it to you?
Yeah, email it, please. So I can just add it to our collection for the review next time we meet.
Okay, I'll do that tomorrow.
Okay.
All right. Anything else on the agenda?
No, just the last thing was, I think we talked about gas, fireplace and wood stove.
Okay. So
Yep.
yeah, gas fireplace, that's a neat thing. So that's the chimney chap had them come in and they fixed, as you walk in the entrance to the lodge, that fireplace hadn't been working. I don't know for how long, but I called them in and it just needed to be cleaned. And it is now working.
And it will have a remote.
And it has a remote. And then the gas fireplace in the library, it barely had a spark. He fixed that, needed to be cleaned. I think that may have needed a part or something. Comes with a remote. And then the one in the office was working, grand. So he came in, so that was all done. And he went out to the Frontier cabin and looked at the wood stove. And I think I may have said this already, but he said the chimney is great.
Yeah, you did.
Stove
Yep.
itself is great. It's just the flue that needs to be replaced. So that was really good news.
Yep.
So we're going to have the wood stove working in the Frontier cabin and all the gas fireplaces. And I think the one as you walk in the lodge to have that working is unbelievable.
That's a big sale for the weddings, I think.
Yeah, exactly. Have
The-
that going. I mean, that just is awesome. People love that.
The pizza oven needs to be clean. You need one of those big pizza brushes. They're not that expensive, so. if people are gonna come in and use the ovens, we need to,
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
I may have missed this, but where do we stand on getting the ancillary system and the parts for the Blodgett?
You,
Still working on it.
we're working on it. Brian Smith, I did call our friend, from, what's his
Sheet
name?
metal, yeah.
Yes,
Mm.
exactly. Scott Sheet Metal. And he's in the hospital.
Oh, no.
But yeah, but he's only been in there for a few days. And I talked to the person who answered the phone, and she knew of the order and everything. So she was going to get on it and call me back with dimensions. And she said he'd be glad we called, because she said he's in the hospital and he's calling every day. Is anybody calling? Do I have any messages? So
Would you tell him to call me?
yes, I
I
certainly
left a
will.
message 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, I
the
certainly will.
Vulcan does work. It takes a while to really get up to for hot temperature, but once it gets there, it works.
Yeah.
Did we get any information on the Blodgett, the middle oven? I know we had talked about that as far as refurbishing that.
Yeah, just that he was going to refurbish it and then put on the new stuff.
That
don't
was a
think
separate vendor, right?
Yeah, he's a separate vendor. Yeah, he's Brian's guy, BrentZetti's
That was
guy.
Owen,
from
right?
Brockton.
Yeah, that was Owen. Did you ever hear back from him?
What's that?
Did you ever hear back from Owen, Dory?
No, I haven't. I called. He was going last time I spoke with him. He was gonna get. That's right. He was gonna work over the weekend and send me something, but naturally I didn't get anything. So I can
Okay.
follow back up with him.
All right, if you want to light a fire under him, I'll light a fire on him too.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
That way we can
You
get
don't
this, that part of it done, because we don't want
That'd be great.
to sit on this. Obviously, once the aluminum, once the top gets done, once the Gordon or whoever's gonna do the roof gets done, we need that
It's gotta
stove
come-
right away up and
It's gonna
running.
come quickly. Yeah.
It'll roll. Once it rolls, unfortunately, as we've talked about before, some things just go slowly, and then all of a sudden
Mm-hmm.
they'll be done. And that's kind of where we're at with the stoves. We're waiting for A to talk to B, C, D, E, and go along.
Exactly.
Dory, you
Yeah,
can
but if you
give
wouldn't mind-
the vendor my number for the Ansel system.
I will.
Just give him my cell and I'll talk to him.
Yeah, absolutely.
I need to get going.
I think that's it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay,
that's all I got.
so
Next
how
meeting?
about next meeting would be, I think it's March 8th.
8th and the 22nd,
Yep.
6:30.
Like I said, doesn't matter. I won't be here till 7, so for me, it doesn't matter.
One of these times you're gonna come and the meeting's gonna be ended.
I would live for that day.
We're-
If we
we're
started
trying,
the meeting at 6:30 and I showed up at 7 and it was over,
That can never happen.
I will do cartwheels all the way to Camp Kawani.
Closed. You won't be able to get in.
Please. All right.
Motion to adjourn.
Second,
All those in favor?
everyone.
Everyone, aye. Good night,
Aye.
everybody.
Good
Good
night.
night.
John Zuko. John.